Who was your favorite rebel from the 1916 Easter Rising in Dublin, and why was it Elizabeth O'Farrell? Elizabeth O'Farrell was not only a rebel, a nurse, a fighter, a member of Cumann na mBan, a lesbian, but also a woman. And in 1916, this was an issue. I shall explain. In 1916, Ireland had its catalyst event that rocketed them into the war for independence and eventually gained independence from Britain. It was called the 1916 Easter Rising. You might be thinking, oh, very cool, and then they got their independence. No. The Irish lost and were forced to surrender to the British Army, and to do so, the Irish rebel forces selected Padraig Pearse and Elizabeth O'Farrell to surrender. Except for that the British had a pretty big problem. Elizabeth was a woman. It was one thing if a man came to surrender to the British Army, because he would represent other men. And men, they crazy, you know? At least that was the picture that the British media could paint at the time. If this was just a bunch of militant, crazed men, they could write them off as being treacherous and rebellious, militant and angry. But women were softer, at least they were considered to be back in 1916. They were more sensible. They thought things out. They didn't just run into rebellions willy-nilly. A woman? At least that was the fucking bullshit that they were spouting. So to see a woman alongside these rebels, fighting beside them for the same cause, thinking the same things, that could only add credibility to the rebel argument. A woman would add legitimacy and sensibility to this fight. This could legitimize the entire fight to the British public. The British public could find out how shit Ireland was treated. Because for a long time and for a good amount of Ireland's occupation from Britain, the British public had no idea what Ireland was like. They were fed stories that Ireland was treated exactly like England was, that Ireland was an equal and participating member of the United Kingdom. Their rebelliousness and poverty was merely a side effect of their laziness and drunken activities. If there were actual sensible women participating in rebellion, this might get the public thinking, why? And that was dangerous. So the British newspapers edited out Elizabeth O'Farrell from the photos that covered the event. It was no longer Miss O'Farrell and Mr. Pearse, it was just Mr. Pearse. So she was erased to save face for the British government. With the power of one woman, they were worried she could topple an empire. Just fucking saying.